There are a ton of builds in Destiny, and with Frontiers on the horizon, I asked you all what you thought was the best build for every subclass on each class. Those votes and responses are what sparked this series to life, and I'm making these videos in hopes that they can be used as refreshers for current players and complete guides for new players looking to hop into the game. All of these builds will not be using the seasonal artifact and can be used in any endgame content that you would like to do. So if you want a build to work towards that should last theoretically forever, look no further. Once everything is posted, there will be a total of 18 builds for you to chase after, so if you're curious about another playstyle, definitely be sure to check them all out. I've been working on this project for quite a while, and it has definitely taken a long time, so I really hope you all can enjoy them. If it wasn't for you, series like this could not exist, so I just wanted to say thank you. And finally, if you are new here and enjoying the content, consider doing all the normal YouTube stuff and joining our Discord server. All of your support really does go a long way and is genuinely appreciated. But without further ado, thanks for clicking on the video, and let's jump right into the build. All right, everyone, we have finally made it to the final element, and this one is going to be all about Void. In this one, we are going to take a look at the Warlock, and this has been a very solid build for a very long time now at this point, and you could argue it's even gotten better from when it once came out. I've known this build has been a staple, and I've had it saved in either a loadout slot or a dim loadout pretty much the entirety of this game, and it's just one of those builds that's always going to be reliable, and somehow it's still a ton of fun to play. But all right, jumping right into it, first things first, let's take a look at our exotic armor, and that is going to be Controverse Hold. It says the exotic perk Chaotic Exchanger. Resist incoming damage while charging your Void Grenade with Chaos Accelerant. Charging Void Grenades returns your grenade energy on hit. Now really quick, let's actually just jump to our subclass to take a look at Chaos Accelerant so you can understand what that does. This is just going to buff your grenades, so you can hold your grenade down to charge it up, and then you get an additional bonus. We are going to be running the Vortex Grenade, so with Vortex Grenade, that is going to make it so it's going to increase the size and the linger duration of that grenade. So essentially with that aspect and this exotic armor, you're basically going to just giga buff your Vortex Grenade. There are going to be a lot more ways we can play into our grenade once we get into some of our fragments, even our armor mods, but just at base, being able to throw this very big Vortex Grenade to suck everything in, do a lot of damage, is very strong. On top of that, every single time you're damaging those enemies, you're going to refill your grenade energy as well. This makes it extremely easy to spam these grenades all the time, and it even works very well in in-game content because even if the grenade's not doing a ton of damage, it's going to constantly keep taking damage over and over to constantly refill your grenade energy. And then if that wasn't enough, you also are going to get that increased damage resistance when you're charging the grenade up, so you can almost use it as a utility tool. Just hold the grenade and you take reduced damage, which is great. In in-game content, this really does come into play. So overall, in my opinion, this is still one of the best Warlock exotics in the game. You get a lot of utility, your grenade gets a lot of damage, you can spam your grenade a lot more often, and we can further play into buffing this grenade up with our subclass. But talking about that, let's actually jump into our fragments first, because this kind of is what really buffs this up a lot. So first off, we're going to be running Echo of Remnants. So this is going to increase the lingering grenade effects of our Vortex Grenade, giving them increased duration. So again, now Vortex Grenade is going to have even longer duration pairing with the Chaos Accelerant. They will stack, and it can just last there for a long time. Next up is going to be something like Echo of Undermining, so your Void Grenade can weaken targets. So now your grenade is going to be able to apply a weaken effect. This is good for doing extra boss damage. Again, since the Vortex is going to have increased duration, it will sit on a boss for a long time. You're going to be getting this grenade energy back because of Controverse Hold, and you could just sit here and again use this utility tool. But once again, you could also use it as an offense tool because grouping a lot of enemies up, you're now just going to be doing more damage to the grenade as well. The next up is going to be Echo of Instability, so defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your Void weapons. So in most cases, you will want to run a Void weapon with this build so you can grant it volatile rounds, but if you want to swap this fragment out for anything else, this build can work without a Void weapon, but I would definitely recommend just taking one, or if you run something like Stabilizer rounds, again, you can swap this out. But Echo of Instability is just so good because it grants volatile rounds to any Void weapon without the Stabilizer rounds, and there's some crazy combos you can do with that. Now finally, it's just going to be Echo of Cessation, so whenever we defeat a volatile target, we'll make a Void Breach. This is obviously very good with Echo of Instability, but also whenever we go for a finisher, we will make enemies around us volatile. Again, this can also proc the other part of Echo of Cessation. It's just good for some general ad clear, and the Void Breaches are going to grant you extra class ability energy. But now let's jump into the aspect that we didn't mention, and that is going to be Feed the Void. So defeat a target with a Void ability to activate Devour. Devour effects are improved, restoring additional health and grenade energy. So at this point in the game, I think we all know how strong Devour is, well, Feed the Void basically just buffs that, and it becomes even better. You're going to be able to get your grenade energy back so quick with the Feed the Void version of Devour, and also the heal you get from it is obviously very good for survivability. This plays extremely well into our exotic, because obviously with the exotic we want to spam our grenade. This makes it easier to do so, but on top of that, with the heal we get from Devour and the damage resist that we get from the exotic, we also are going to be very tanky with this build. The survivability with Feed the Void is honestly just absurd. That's why you see almost every single prismatic build run it. But on top of that, this extra grenade energy that you get to give this, again, giga buffed vortex grenade is just insane. But now finally, let's take a look at the abilities. Start off with the melee. You have to run Pocket Singularity. Unfortunately, this is not the greatest melee in the game. It is kind of fun because you can push targets off the map. You can kind of use it more as a utility tool. They did buff it to do an okay amount of damage, but it's still not the most flashy melee in the game. For your grenade, obviously I would recommend Vortex, but I do want to point out that you can run other grenades with this build. Notably, the main one is going to be Magnetic Grenade, because with this pair with Chaos Accelerant, you will get the handheld Supernova back. It's mainly that like short range shotgun-like thing, and it can do a ton of damage. It is very, very good, but if you want to run the classic Vortex, that's also totally fine. Axiom Bolts and Scatter also get some benefits from Chaos Accelerant, but in all honesty, I would highly recommend sticking to Vortex or Magnetic. And if you do take Magnetic Grenade, be sure to swap out Echo Verdance or something else, because you're not going to get any benefit from this frag. And then for the class ability, I'd take a Healing for survivability, but since you have Devour, it's totally okay if you want to take something like a Power Wave 2 just for that extra damage. And then finally, I like to run Nova Bomb right here just for that extra single target damage. But if you want to run something like Nova Warp, it's honestly not even that bad anymore. It also is a Roman super, so you get it back extremely quickly. So if you're running something like a GM and you just want to spam Nova Warps all the time, this is going to be very good for that, because you will get your super a ton with this build. But again, if you just want to take Nova Bomb as well, that is totally cool. Now, for the weapons with this build, like I mentioned earlier, you do want to run a Void weapon if you are playing into Echo of Instability. One of the best weapons, in my opinion, to pair with this is going to be Velocity Baton. Now, I know this is a dungeon weapon, not everyone has it, but if you do, it has crazy synergy. You can get Demolitions for extra grenade, you can make Attrition Orbs to get more orbs on the ground, and then also Brave Legacy would also give you more grenade energy. So you can basically just spam this area denial grenade launcher everywhere, constantly spread Volatile over and over again with Echo of Instability, and it just destroys everything. Now, if you don't have a Velocity Baton, any Void weapon will work with this. I would highly recommend trying to get Demolitionist on it so you can spam your grenade more. To be fair, you don't have to, because you're going to have a lot of grenade energy back between your exotic and Devour already, but this is just an extra little cherry on top to make sure you can just spam them even more. But in all honesty, you can legitimately run any Void weapon with this setup and it would do very well. If you want to run a legendary one, an exotic one, it does not matter. If it has the Void flavor on it, it is going to do a ridiculous amount of damage. And then for your other two slots, for your power weapon, it doesn't matter too much. Again, if you take something that is Void, you can take advantage of the volatile rounds. And then for your other weapon, if you want to run double special, you totally could. If you want to run a primary weapon, pairing that with Velocity Baton, you could do that as well. And again, if you are running like a Void SMG, any special weapon will also work. But once again, I do want to reiterate, you don't even have to run a Void weapon in this build. You can even take something, you know, like throw this on right here. I know this is the most optimal loadout, but no, this is Void. All you have to do is just take off Echo of Instability. You can run things like Echo of Explosion instead, so your grenade can make targets explode, or just really anything you want to, because you're already getting enough benefits from this base kit alone, so you're going to be able to do things more than fine. But if you just want that extra added fun factor, and of course to do a little bit more damage, depending on the scenario you're in, I would definitely recommend a Void weapon with Echo of Instability. And then for the stats, for sure go out the 100 Resilience, get your 30% damage reduction, and then 100 Discipline, obviously because you want to spam your grenade. And then I opt in just to take a bunch of Recovery, because pairing that with the Void Breaches you're going to be getting from Cessation, you're going to be able to spam your class ability a lot, and this will play into our armor mods. And speaking of those, this is what I'm running if you would like to copy them down. But as a further look, first off, I'm going to be running a Harmonic Siphon, so my Void weapon Final Blows can make an Orb of Power. This is going to be very, very good, especially if you run something like Velocity Baton. But again, any Void weapon will work. You're just going to be able to make orbs for armor charge. Next up is Ashes to Assets, so we gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. You're going to be able to spam your grenade a lot. This is what's going to get your super energy back up extremely quick, and it is just so good. Next up is Dynamo, so we can reduce our super cooldown. We use our class ability in our targets. Since we can spam our class ability a lot because of the Void Breaches and the recovery we're getting, this is just some extra super energy on top of the Ashes to Assets. Next up for our arms is a Harmonic Loader, so I increase your load speed of Void weapons. Since I'm mainly running Void weapons with this build all the time, this is great to take. Then I'll also take a Bolstering Detonation and a Momentum Transfer, so whenever I cause damage with a grenade, I'm going to get class ability cooldown, and I'm also going to get melee cooldown. This just further helps into spamming your other abilities. Melee is not the crazy thing, but getting your class ability back is good for the armor mods. But if you want to take Momentum Transfer out for maybe something like a grenade kickstart, you could. This will play into your armor charge, but I do use my armor charge for a different mod, but I will come back to this in a second once we get to the other armor charge mod. And now for your chest piece, always go through system mods, just swap these out for whatever content that you're going into. And then for the boots, I do like to take a orbs restoration, innervation, and absolution. So all of these are going to give me ability energy when I pick an orb up. This is going to give me something for my lowest ability cooldown. This is going to give me grenade energy specifically, and then this one gives me energy for everything. So overall, you're going to get energy back for everything, especially your grenade. You're going to be able to spam all your abilities all the time. You're mainly just taking all of these again to kind of just buff the grenade energy you get back, so you could just throw more grenades. And then finally for our class item, I do take a powerful attraction so I can pick up all the orbs around me when I use my class ability. This is going to be the main thing playing into why you want to spam your rift, because you can pick all these orbs up. That's going to give you a bunch of grenade energy back, and again, have that healing rift or empowering rift for extra damage or survivability is great. Then next up is going to be proximity ward, so I gain a powerful overshield when I perform a finisher. You actually want to go with finishers with this build a good amount because of echo sensation, making enemies volatile. Now you could just become even tankier, pairing that with the devour. You're pretty much unkillable. Then next up finally is going to be special finisher. This is what I typically like to run in almost every single build at this point, because once you get 3 armor charge stacks, you're going to be able to make special ammo for you and your team. But if you want to swap this out for something like a bomber again and play into grenade kickstart just to have even more grenade energy, that is totally cool because you can spam your class ability a lot to get your grenade energy back up because of bomber. But overall, I do think it's a bit overkill. That's why I opted in just to take something like momentum transfer into special finishers so I can have more benefits kind of throughout the whole build. But if you want to go pure grenade overkill, feel free to take those and you can spam even more. And now looking at the artifact, like I do at the end of all these videos, I do want to reiterate, you don't have to take any artifact perk for this build to work. It's already very, very good without any of these, but obviously there's nothing wrong with running artifact perks. And specifically with this season, there are a ton that plays into Void. You have Volatile Rounds, you have Void Overshield, you have Weaken, you have a bunch of stuff that you can do. So when Frontiers comes around, if there's anything to deal with Void, just be sure to come in here and click on all the things that would improve the build, and you're going to take this already disgusting build to the next level. And then finally, this is the Transmog I'm running. I'm going for a very dark Void theme look for this specific, line of builds here. I'm going with the Amethyst Veil shader. I took advantage of some of the Ghost of the Deep orbs here. Obviously, it has a very purple hive themey look to it, but overall, I think it turned out looking pretty cool. And if you want to make your Warlock look like this, definitely be sure to copy it down. But that is going to do it all for the Void Warlock. Once again, this has been pretty much a staple ever since Controverse Hold has came out. It has been very, very strong for a very long period of time. It is just a solid, I don't know what to run build, throw this on and you will get a lot of mileage out. It helps your team out because you can weaken a lot of things with your grenade. It's very good for survivability. It's very good for act clear. It's a ton of fun to use. There's really just nothing you could go wrong with it. If there's ever just a solid all-around build in Destiny, I think this is the one, because you even have decent super damage on top of everything else we already described, and it's what I would definitely recommend trying to put together. But as always, if you were a veteran player and watched this all the way through, I truly appreciate it. Hope you learned at least one thing new, and if you're a new or returning player, I wish you all the best of luck on putting this build together for yourself. Anyways, that's going to do it all for me. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and hope you all have a great day. Peace.